Yeah.
Before a toddler. With a toddler now, no, I don't nap. I don't get naps in. Um, but before I could nap a little during the day if I wasn't like busy with some type of
Uh,
work project or something. I could, nap during in between classes within the university, like Tuesday and Thursdays, I would get like a 2.5 hour break.
really?
I
They
could,
give you
yeah,
that?
I could go home.
So bad.
I could go and take a nap, pop right back up, and then get back into the class.
Uh,
Um, and then at nighttime, of course, it would be a little harder for me to get to
mm,
sleep. But I could still go to sleep. And I would
right.
have some nights to where if if I did have a day, like a full day before, our toddler, but a full day to where I could really just nap for hours, then of
Right.
course I would be up a little bit more during
Yeah.
the night. But right now, I have no problem. I don't nap now. I don't get a chance to
Yeah.
nap, but nighttime, haven't really noticed any difference lately. This is my hibernation time of the year. So so I don't nap, but at nighttime I am able to go ahead and just rest and go to
Wow.
sleep.
That's really good. I know I always feel like there's two of us, where we have the insomnia, then we have the
Hmm.
people that can really sleep, which is interesting. So back to what you're doing now. So what drew you to psychology in the first place? What was the draw for you?
So ultimately, it was more of the idea and the hope to try to help people.
Mm,
Took a psych course in high school, college. I majored in Go figure. I majored in pre-med biology. I wanted to be an OBGYN. And so my first 2 semesters at this other university, my advisor kind of wasn't on her. She wasn't on it like she should have been. And
okay.
I was like, if I'm on it a little bit more than you and you're supposed to be guiding me, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
So,
Good for you for recognizing and
yes,
saying
so
out.
transferred out.
Mm,
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to major in psychology.
mm,
And it got to a point to where I started to notice that, and friends would tell me, and my husband, like, people would open up to me and talk to me
mm,
about things without me even asking.
really?
And so I was always told, like, you're just so easy to talk to. Like, you're so easy to talk to. And I was like, okay, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, God basically has said you need to go in this direction.
Right.
And the issue with the advisor, I kind of I was upset. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset
Yeah.
about it. And I was because I was really just headstrong on being an OBGYN.
Right.
And then I was like, no, God was just redirecting me to where my
Yeah.
calling is. And so got into it, of course, finished my bachelor's, went in for my master's right after, didn't take a break. My parents were like, you need to take a break. And I was like, no, I'm not taking a break. So I went right in and did internship and everything and got the training. And then something just stopped me and I was like, no, like I need a break. Like I
Yeah.
can't go into this because I need to break myself from this.
Mhm.
So after my master's, maybe took like a 3 month break and jumped right
Uh,
into my doctorate.
okay. I mean,
But
why not? I mean, 3 months, gosh, you were kind of lazy.
yeah, I was lazy.
Please,
So
you're so driven.
and so my parents were like, no, like, and my husband were like, no, you need to take like a 6 month break because it's been
Okay.
school back to back. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want to take this break because I feel like if I do, I won't get back into it right away.
Yeah. I think that's smart. I think there's always the fear of that. If we
Yeah.
take too long of a break, it's like, I may not go back to that.
Yes. So I jumped right in. Can't tell you how many times, whatever horror stories you've heard about a PhD, that's what it is.
Oh yeah,
Because
I cannot even, I can't imagine at this point. I'll think about like, do I want to go back to school? I'm like, oh, no, 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 no.
and the sad part is I encourage everyone, including my clients, including my students. I have students that keep in touch with me, that taken me years ago, and
Yeah.
I have a few that are in their doctorates right now, and I try to give them that encouragement, that motivation. But it was a fight and a struggle for me
Yeah.
because just as soon as I started it, by the end of my first semester, I
Uh,
was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Okay, so that's when you were,
That's when I was diagnosed.
yeah,
And so I was like, how am I going to make it through this? I get so frustrated now. Like,
but you did,
yeah,
which is, I mean,
it was a fight, a
kudos to you. I
struggle.
mean, what an awesome testimony, just that.
Yeah. And I give God all the praise and glory for this.
That's
But
so big.
it was a fight, it was a
Yeah,
struggle, and especially to get everybody on board finally with knowing like this is a topic that needs to be heard.
yeah.
And then once I graduated with my doctorate,
Uh,
and then that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna
I mean,
probably
just
start
listen
going
to
to
yourself.
psychology.
Bachelor's, master's, doctorate. I mean,
It was a struggle, but I made it through by the grace of God. It was by the grace of God all the way through.
yeah, that's really amazing. So
Yeah.
then once you're going through, you're kind of then starting to get an idea of kind of where you want to be in this area, where you want to. So how did that kind of fine tune into kind of
So
where you wanted to be in?
with clients and everything,
Yeah.
therapy. So it was, and I told my supervisor, I'm like, I feel like this just fell in my lap some kind of way. It was like, it was just God just saying, this is where you should be
Yeah.
at. And so higher education, that's where I always thought I would be. And
Mhm.
then I started to see some parts of higher education I didn't like. And then I was like, yeah, I gotta figure this out. Like I gotta figure it
Right.
out. There's no way I did all, these years of school, and I have got to figure this out. So I still continue to stay in the higher education area. It's just I'm on a part-time basis. And then once I made this, I applied for a postdoc into the therapy world. And once
Mhm.
I got into that postdoc with this company, it was kind of like it just worked out. Like
Yeah.
it was at first it was scary because I was like, I haven't done this in years with seeing clients, with my master's program, and they
Right.
had us do so many over 1,000 or so hours and trying to get us our feet wet in it.
Uh,
And I have friends that are in the field that were like, yeah, like I think you should probably like go towards this. Hey, why don't you try it out part-time and see if you like it or not? And I kept saying no, like I don't think that's where I'm supposed to be. When actuality that's where I really am supposed to be.
yeah.
And I enjoyed it. My first year, second year now, and it's really just to a point to where I was like, why didn't I go straight into this? Like, this is amazing seeing people helping them and helping
Yeah.
them improve and helping
What's
them.
your favorite part?
My favorite part is actually just goal setting.
Yeah.
I would say goal setting because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people that I have, come in contact with, I can help and cope through with anxiety, with
Mhm.
depression, help and cope through with race and identity
Yeah.
issues and things like that. But it's just I want to make sure that you're taken care of and you're good
Yeah.
in the future. So
Yeah.
what do we need to do? Like I can help you with coping skills, but I need to know that you're gonna be taken care of and you're gonna be strong enough in the future to take care of yourself. So what do I need to do to help you with prioritizing your goals, whatever
Right.
dreams you have. And then
Right.
we just wind them down on a list. And then we start to pinpoint and focus towards that. And then we start the work of prepping to get them ready for going into whatever field that is, applying for whatever job, even if it's something small as far as like a
Yeah.
retail job. But I feel like that's still an accomplishment for that
Absolutely.
particular person. If, not everyone wants to go into a full blown, college, degree
Amen.
or
I
everybody
think
has
that's so
different
important that you
paths.
say that because I think we've been, so driven in the
Mhm,
past that parents will force into a big college, degree. And you've got to know your kids
mhm,
first off. I had one that was like full into, he wanted to go to college. He wanted to get, and then my other two were not there. My daughter she was born to do hair. She was doing it on
mhm.
trampolines when she was 10. I was like, oh my gosh, what's she doing? But that was her talent, that was her gift. So for me to force her to go to, a big college, it would have been ridiculous.
Yeah,
And you have
yeah.
to know that and not pressure them into, and I would say that probably for you, um, I know enough about psychology to be dangerous because as a pastor's wife, you know enough to,
Oh, yes.
to
Yes.
hopefully help them and then set them to a therapist that you know that you've got, you have a list of therapists that you can send them to. So I would say that was a big thing that I saw, where a lot of young adults, teenagers that were sent off to colleges that they didn't want to go to. They had an idea of a trade they wanted to do, but they were sent off to a college that they didn't want to do, and things like that. So I really loved, and we'll talk about this when we do, because I know we've got to get off soon, but I loved that you worked with a lot of the LGBT community. I love the mental health issues. And I think that during COVID and the lockdown, the shutdown, all that had to be something that was so such a blessing that you could give back to them, because I think that for all of us, we were going, crazy, but for so many of our young adults and so many that were isolated, I think that had to be an area that you saw so much pain.
Yeah, it was actually, you know, first starting off with it, it was actually like eye-opening to see and to hear some of the stories that I was hearing. And it gets to a point to where, okay, where can I pull in to try to help? So it's first, of course, always telling my clients, like, you're free to be whoever you want to be. And also instilling in them, like, if you're not ready to openly come out, then you don't need to do it. Like,
Right,
that's your secret to hold. That's your pride and joy. So don't have someone to where you feel like you're forced to be able to come out. And then another thing, I tell all my clients, whether they're LGBTQ, I tell all my clients, you have one life to live.
yeah,
One life. It's not like, and I say this and they look at me and they laugh. I'm like, you can't die and come back.
right,
Like, you have one life. So it's up to you to figure out how you want to live this one life. So are you going to live this one life based off what someone else feel like, you should be,
right,
who you should love or anything like that? Or are you going to live it to the fullest and
right,
be who you really want to be, and be
exactly,
happy?
yeah,
And so whatever that happiness means to you.
right,
And so that's where we start to pick up. And then that's where it's like, okay, let's work. Let's get to work and let's get you to
yeah,
where you're comfortable. Uh, Including with clients that I've worked with that were going through transgender, uh,
sure,
surgeries and stuff, and having to make sure that they were mentally ready and prepared.
right,
And so I feel like, you know, some things, especially within 2022, but I feel like it's opened doors, and I'm happy
oh
that it
yeah,
has opened
yeah,
doors to where people are kind of like open their eyes more to know that not everyone has to do and say and be what you want them to be. Let them be
right,
themselves and let them be free.
yeah,
So
I love that,
that's yeah, it's just and it's an amazing area to actually work in, and to see how they blossom and
yeah,
grow, and you know how working together and making all my clients, but making especially within the LGBTQ,
oh
understanding that,
yeah,
like, look, you didn't do anything wrong
right.
at all. So, but it's
I
amazing.
love that. And it is funny because I will tell my son, and we joke, and I'm like, honey, mommy's getting old and I've got MS. And so I will forget the pronouns. I will forget some of them,
Hmm.
but no, my heart is in the right spot. I may get a letter wrong, but and his friends are so fun with me, and they're so great, and they know my heart. And so I'm like, I'm trying so hard. And so they
Yeah.
know that. I think that's the thing, is really just transparency and authenticity.
Hmm.
And then I think
Yeah.
that breaks so much of it, just takes so many of the doors. It just, when we're able to talk, have real conversations,
Yeah.
then the offenses and all of that is gone,
Yeah.
because they know the love is there. And I think that's all we all want, right?
And that's what matters most. And then you
Yeah,
also have to give yourself some grace, right? Because you're learning. You
right.
have to give yourself some grace. So where,
Yeah.
like, don't be so hard on yourself, Kathy. Like, you're learning. But your son knows that
Yeah.
the love is there. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, I definitely want to talk more about the training that you're doing. And I want to talk more about, the things that you've seen through COVID, through the pandemic, and some of the stuff that some of the topics that we wanted to talk about, and some of the counseling things that you're doing in the future. So we are going to have a part 2. So we will come back to this, and I'm looking forward to it. I was so excited to be able to meet with you and to be able to have contact with you. And it was just I love when it's organic. And I've got in my heart, my mind that, this is a subject I really want to go into, but it has to be the right fit. And so when I found you, I was like, boom, I knew I wanted you. So I was really, really excited to have found you.
Yeah, this has been a pleasure though. I will be happy to come on for part 2
Thank
whenever
you.
you want me to. It's totally
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely. We'll chat and get our part 2, and
Okay.
for sure do this. So again, I'm so excited to have met you, and I hope that everybody really enjoyed this and look forward to part 2. And we'll hear some more about what's on the horizon with you, where you're going with this, and some more of the counseling and how we get a hold of you, and if patients want to meet with you on how we do that. And I've got your Twitter and stuff like that, and your email. So I'll put that on the bottom of the show notes for this. And then we will, we can look forward to part 2 with you. So you go get that little guy. Is it your son that you got to pick up, right?
No, my 15-year-old.
Okay. All right.
I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old little baby.
That's okay. Well, you
That
go
keeps
pick
us
up.
busy.
Yes, it does. So you go pick up that 15-year-old, and then we will chat again soon. So I'm going to end this. Hold on for 1 second. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed meeting Dr. Scott. I hope you loved her as much as I did. And we'll look forward to part 2, where we dig in a little deeper. So again, as always, go ahead and rate the podcast and DM me, email if you've got some questions for our part 2 that you'd like to hear from Dr. Scott as well. And we'll add that to our podcast. So thanks so much for being with us. Thank you, Dr. Scott, for answering our questions. And we'll see you again soon. So have a great day.